Hello, welcome to another Ready Game Roll video. Today, I want to talk to you about something a bit different. Today, I want to talk to you about this, my new latest obsession. That being Carnivale from TTCombat. So, I think TTCombat makes some great stuff. And Carnivale especially might be one of the best skirmish games that almost nobody's ever heard of. Just simply because it just goes. I've been playing for 3 weeks now, since buying the box, and I've played 5 games. Bearing in mind, I didn't play at all last week. I played four games in 1 week a couple weeks ago, and it was so good. So I'm going to take a few minutes out of your day, if you don't mind, to talk to you about why Carnivale is fucking great. Because as you can see, I've gone fairly hard on Carnivale. I bought the big beginner 2-player starter set, which I did an unboxing for, but there was no audio on it, so I was just like, all right, I'll do something a bit different. This will be more of a review of Carnivale as a system, especially having played a few games now. So yeah, if that sounds like something you want to hear, stick around. And if you enjoy this sort of thing, then drop a comment talking about other games that you don't think enough people know about. And maybe stick around, subscribe. It'll be somewhere around here. Yeah, and give the video a like, of course, and if you want more people to see what we're doing, share it. That will also be massively helpful. So, anyway, Carnivale is a skirmish game, as I've already mentioned, published by TTCombat. It is such a wonderful game, especially if you're fairly new to skirmish games, because it can be played with so few minis. So far, I have played mostly 75 point, or in this game, points are called ducats because it's set in Venice, hence the Carnivale battle map type thing. So most of the games I've played are at the 75 ducat range, which is, most games are played at 100. You can play more, you can play less, obviously. But especially these beginner games, these sort of starter games that I've played, have been at 75 ducats, and that's meant 5, maybe 6 minis. So far I have only played the guild, which is these guys here, like a woman over there and the child on the building. And I'll get to why there are stuff on the buildings later, because that's a core part of the game. But Carnivale is one of the fastest games I've played in terms of how quick it feels like each turn goes by. Because even with, obviously, if you've played stuff like Warhammer, you'll know that turns can take a long time. You know, you've got movement, you've got your shooting, all this stuff that happens. A single turn can take 10 to 20 minutes sometimes, and it gets exhausting. Whereas there's none of that. You've got a certain number of actions. Most characters will have 2, but leader characters, for example, is it this? No, I know this guy. This guy has 2 actions because he's the leader for the guild, and you're not in the shot. Nope, you're a slave. I don't think I ended up putting the Magi in the shot in the end. But yeah, it's great. It's just so good for for being quick. Like, it still takes a good hour to 2 hours to play. It isn't a short game by any means. So it still takes about roughly the same time as a game of Kill Team, maybe slightly less. But that time, it doesn't feel like you're sat down doing nothing, because not only is it alternate activation, so I'll do something with this guy, you'll do something with that guy, I'll do something with this guy, you'll do something with that guy, that type of thing. It is also very, very quick in terms of how actions happen. So, for example, in this game, in Carnivale, instead of running up to a character with one action and attacking them with another, you run up to a character and you get an attack of opportunity when you go and get into base-to-base contact. So instead of having to use two actions to move and shoot, or in this case, move and hit something, you're just moving. Hitting something is just part of that single activation. You just get that as you move into base-to-base contact, because it assumes that if you're running into base-to-base contact with a opposing mini, you're going to attack it. So just make it part of the activation anyway. And that means for guys like the Cappuccino, who has 3 activation points, you can move and attack with one action, attack again, and attack again. And given that that guy's got like 4 or 5 attacks, that is 12 attacks in one go. Which, granted, you're not always going to hit your aces, which in this game is a 7-up, or in terms of attacking, it is your character's dexterity upwards. But that doesn't matter. That's still 12 attacks that could get thrown. So even if 3 or 4 of those attacks get through, that's still a good chunk of their health gone. Especially if it's something like the Pilferer up on that building, who only has 8 hit points. Someone like your Capo attacking that, or even this guy, I think he's got like only a 4 attacks, but I think that does +1 attack anyway, or +1 damage. So yeah, it's a very quick moving game, which, speaking of the movement is a major draw to why this game is interesting. Because a lot of games will try and make movement interesting and thematic to the type of game that you're playing. But I don't think any game does it quite as well as Carnivale has. Because, as you can see, there are buildings. These are cardboard buildings that come in the 2-player starter set. They're fine. But because I live nearby-ish to a Troll Trader store, which is part of the company that publishes this, they have loads of the MDF scenery already painted, ready to use on tables that are free to book and free to just, show up and play at. Granted, if they already have bookings and you just show up, you are not guaranteed a game, but if you book in advance, you just show up and play, and it's great. I love having that as my local friendly game store. It's lovely. But anyway, movement is a big part of this game because you can jump from building to building to building, which, if you've got high dex, sometimes when you move and you declare a jump, you can move, in many cases, just further than your normal movement speed will allow. And beyond that, you can chain jumps. So, for example, if we move things away, not the camera, if this is a bit of debris in the canal, I can have my capo declare a jump to that bit of debris, and if he makes it, he can then chain jump across to this side of the canal, which, given that he's got, I want to say 5 inches of movement, in one activation, because the chain jump is free if you land on that bit of debris, you can sometimes move 8, 9. I think I was part of a game where my opponent moved 12 inches in one, or at least could have moved 12 inches in one jump, in one activation, which is, given that most games are played with 2 foot to 3 foot by 3 foot boards, that is insane. That is a long way to go in one activation, bearing in mind that, again, most things have 2 or even 3 activations per turn. It's just great. You are never bored. You are never waiting for your opponent to do something, and your opponent's never waiting for you to do something, because there aren't many interactions like there are in Infinity where you shoot and because I'm in line of sight of you, I get to shoot back. But turns are quick anyway. You don't have to worry about that. It's great. I love it. And also the minis themselves are superb. Like, unfortunately, setting this up, this core rulebook fell on a couple of my Rashar minis and broke them at the ankles, which I am livid about. I am fucking incandescent. I have not even used the Rashar in a game yet, and I'm fucking livid. But anyway, the minis, the sculpting on them is superb. Look at this. I can't wait to paint this up. I might have to buy some more of these guys now, especially now I got some of them fucking broken and it's entirely my fault. Yeah. They are resin, which is a pain in the ass, especially with some of the smaller ones to get on bases and get arms on. Like the Pilferer. The Pilferer was just a fucking... Getting that to stand up on its base and stay was a fucking ball ache. I hated it. Not a fan of that. But yeah, I'm going to try and wrap this up now, because I've only got a couple minutes left on the camera roll. But yeah, Carnivale is great. You can get into it for as little as £35 with the... They do 2 starter sets. So they do this one, which comes with everything you need. The plastic measuring sticks. 2 full gangs, which is awesome. And a gondola plus all the scenery and terrain that you're going to need to get started. And they also do a smaller starter set, which comes with 2 small gangs that'll be good to get you started. I think they're about 50 ducats each. A little bit of terrain and a 2 foot by 2 foot fold out mat, which is still great. Awesome value at 35 quid. But if you're 90% sure that you're going to be enjoying this game, go for the big one, because it comes with the full-sized rulebook, which I will say the rules are out of date in this one. Like, you can still use it. There's still a lot of rules in this that fit. It's just that this book here is a, I guess, sort of 2.5, like a 0.5 version. Like, some rules have been updated and adjusted, and this book just has more extended lore in it. So yeah, you don't have to go and buy this straight away like I did. I just wanted to, because I wanted to have the rules at my fingertips. Also, all the rules are free. The basic rules are free, as is the list builder, which I will put a link to in the description if I can remember to do that. So yeah, Carnivale is fucking great. I love it. It's also nice to have a game that uses D10s instead of usual D6s or D20s. It's not a D12, which is the superior dice, but anyway, this game's great. I love it and hope that this video inspires at least some people to pick it up or pick it back up. So yeah, I will probably be doing more videos on this in future, probably looking at this book and some more individual model reviews, maybe. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please, please, please consider subscribing. We are smashing through what we expected to do this year. And if we could hit 70 subs by the end of this year, that would be awesome. So yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this, and enjoy the rest of your day.